Hi, I'm Elle. I'm a National Youth Theatre social media ambassador, and this is
Gabi, actor, producer, and a fellow NYT social media ambassador.
B. Gabi Chanova. You went from an unemployed, sad girl living in London. Now you are stage-based artistic director, young Almeida young producer, and you're a producer at Burnt Orange. I feel like it's something longer like that. It's like rep creative team. Yeah.
But
Now, Gabby, tell me what's your secret?
that's awful, Elle. That makes me sound so successful. That's just not the case. Can I just say,
Well, you do sound very successful because you are quite successful.
can I just say that I'm still a girl that's just a bit overemployed now, and I am also sad sometimes. I've always wanted to have something of mine to start, and I just feel like whichever room I'm in, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I think this could have been done better. This could have been organized better. And I was like, yeah, but you can't just keep talking about it and kind of just like tell people off. Not tell, or tell them in my mind, tell them off. But if you can't do it better, don't talk about it. And so I was like, maybe it's time that I prove to myself that I can do better and, make this industry a better place, because essentially everything that I've done since I moved here has been very philanthropic and kind of, but if I take more space and I make the space better, then I'm making the industry better as a whole. And so I was really intimidated for a long time to start it on my own, because I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people that I work well with, but starting a company with someone felt like, and it is something huge. Um, just looking at it legally. And I just said to myself, I don't want to start it on my own because it feels too big, but I also don't want to do it with anyone just because I feel intimidated to be on my own. Um, so I kind of just kept postponing it for a bit. And then I got cast in a play, in a French play, really randomly. And it was the first thing I did out of uni. It was really important to say that that was March 2024. Do you know what I mean? Like, it took such a long time. On the first day of rehearsal, I met Eleanor, who was my castmate and then became the co-artistic director of StageBase. And it was such a special moment and a lesson for me that when something works, it just works. It was throughout the process, I just felt really comfortable around her, and we artistically clicked. It was the day after the play that I was like, I feel like I'm not done working with you. I want to do more. And then we met up for coffee after that. And I was like, hey, would you like to meet for a creative coffee? I really wasn't sure what she was going to say. And she was like, I thought you'd never ask. And I was like, okay. And then we went for brunch, and she's an incredible actor and a writer, and she pitched a play to me, and I was like, this is amazing. And then it just made sense. Then we start this together. And so that meeting was, so we had a play on the 5th of May, and then we met 5 days later. And on the 19th of May, we registered the company at Company House. And
Blimey.
literally, again, you know me, that's not something I would do. I think about it for ages and like make all contingency plans and stuff, but that just made sense to me. I think obviously it started as we want to make productions and we want to make our own work because that's just the way it is, and it's like the normal pathway for so many people to start a theatre company, and you have full shed, and I just think it's really it's an amazing thing to do, but also it felt a bit selfish in a way. Oh, we're gonna make productions and it's gonna be great. And I just thought, but like, who's gonna come see these productions? I don't want all my mates just be there, or like my mum's cat or whatever. Like, I wanna have an audience and I wanna make an impact with what I do. I don't wanna make work just because I'm out of work. We were like, so why don't we take time to just build up that community and do projects, we did a writers lab straight after that, and we gathered 5 writers and ran sessions with them, and then we had rehearsed readings where we cast actors, and we kind of just expanded our community. And it has been so lovely. We started doing this new thing called Stage Dates, where we just take people for free to the theatre. And we have networking before that and the post show discussion afterwards. And it feels right to do these things before you go like production, listen to what we have to say. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, again, I think it's really important for young people in this age to have a really good supportive environment to thrive in. And I think that's where our focus has been as a company. And I think that works.
Amazing. I think you're doing a really good job, Gabby. You've worked with so many incredible sort of youth acting organizations. And I sort of think like, people that are maybe looking at this video or are just looking for those kind of events and workshops, what would you recommend to them?
Absolutely. Great question. I think so because especially in London, there's just so much all the time, actually. And I'm overwhelmed 24/7 by everything that's going on. But I think it was that during that really quiet, difficult time for me when I moved here in 2023 that I really took my time to find out what's where and build up my network. And it was through participation programs of theatres that I actually started feeling like a normal human being who can pull it off in this industry. So I joined Masterclass was the very first thing that I did. They are the kind of the participation program of the Haymarket Theatre. And they are an amazing team of people who run an entirely free, a provision, and they do workshops and masterclasses with amazing creatives and script socials and rehearse readings and all sorts of stuff that you can literally just be part of. And I think they're the people that I've talked about the most, because they really made me feel not alone. And then I've really engaged with the participation programs of the National Theatre and of the Almeida Theatre, and just these little opportunities everywhere that you can find if you just take the time and have curiosity towards that. Because someone once told me, like, if you look at your life as you're programming your own life, as a, me as a producer, I like the term programming. Oh, I'm going to program a theatre and whatever. But it is programming your daily schedule and finding ways to improve. And it's just listening to who's where, because it's a much smaller industry than people imagine, much smaller.
What advice would you give to young people, sort of NYT member age, that are interested in getting into producing or getting into facilitating?
Oh wow, two very different things. I think actually people underestimate how much producing they have to do in their lives anyway. There's just so much about paying attention and again listening. I mean, I think us being cast in the production of 12 Night and working with Aileen Gonsalves during our third year at uni literally changed my life, because her method is literally be present and listen. And I love the quote, you have one mouth and two ears. God, my pronunciation, my Bulgarian is coming out. Um, so talk less, listen more. And I think for producing that really is the case. It is about reading who the producers of this play are, seeing where everyone is positioned, who commissions what, which theatre does what. And I think just being a knowledgeable person and having something to say in a room can open so many doors that you had no clue. Um, I think it is really looking at, if you're in that age range, looking at development programs in theatres. Their participation provision is amazing in London specifically, and I know I've seen a couple of them regionally of these programs. And then you would be surprised how many people would agree to have a coffee with you if you do your research well. If you've gone to see a play and you really liked it and you really feel like you have something to say and you want to meet the producer, if any producers are watching this, I'm so sorry, but give them an email. Like, it's just not, we are human in the end of the day, and we need to help out each other. And the amount of time I've just messaged someone and been like, sorry, I literally just saw you play. It was amazing. Can we grab a coffee and just talk about how you get to do what you get to do? And so many people would agree and have agreed. I'm testament to that. And I also agreed to have these meetings. For facilitating, I guess it's a bit different because I had done facilitation and volunteering back at home in Bulgaria. And then we had this term at uni, which was applied theatre, which gave us literally like work experience basically, which I think was really useful and is the one thing that helped me get jobs in facilitation after that. But there's so many theatre companies and just companies that do after school clubs and sessions at care homes, that I think if that's something you're interested in, having a look at them, or asking some theatres if you can just sit in some of their classes. And a lot of theatres in London have their own theatre classes for really young people or elderly people, and I think if you just ask them to sit in on them or volunteer for work experience, whatever, that would work. Obviously that's not always accessible because money and time, but that again, so many and development programs for that. NYT have a young facilitators training. It also is just the case of asking for help and support and ask questions, because that's the only way you can get answers.
What's your favorite thing or production that you've produced or assistant produced?
Oh God. Well, if you say assistant produced, then that's tougher.
Just,
The,
just whatever you like.
it's really I'll start with the first one because it will forever be such a special thing that happened to me. When I say I decided to become a producer, that was awful because I applied for Almeida Young Producers in 2023 and I got rejected. Broke my heart because I really, really wanted to do it, and applied for a Young Producer National Theatre and all sorts of these development programs for producers, and I got rejected from every single one. And I was like, what, am I bad? Like, what's going on? I can't even go through an application process. I found, again, I think randomly on Instagram, Burnt Orange, which is an amazing theatre company in West London, and they work with like young people. And they were starting their own rep company, an acting rep company, but the age range was 16 to 21, and I had just turned 22. And then they released creative team roles that could have been, that were like 16 to 25, I think, and I was like, right, this is my opportunity. And they were recruiting for assistant producer, assistant director, and I think a couple more. And I applied for the assistant producer one. And I went through the whole interview application process and I got it. And I was just like, so you're telling me that I got rejected from every single development program that was free training and I got hired as an
Mhm.
assistant producer? What? Like it's that random sometimes. And I worked with them from, we had our first session in December 2023 and our two shows were in April and May 2024. And actually that thing that says Constellations is the poster of one of the plays. So we did Constellations by Nick Payne and The Tempest by our lovely, lovely Shakespeare. And we had sessions twice a week. And it was the opportunity of a lifetime. Honestly, I'll forever be really grateful. Rosie Thomas is the AD of Burnt Orange. I'll forever be so grateful that they saw it in me, because again, there was no experience to back me up. It was just me talking about my passion and what I could do for them. And they really helped me see myself as a producer. So that was really special. And the young people that we worked with were the best young people I've ever seen in my life. And it felt like such a sweet, special moment in time. And actually recently we won a commendation for excellence from the London Pub Theatre Awards, which was huge. Didn't even know that was going to happen. So it was a remarkable time. So that's really special because it was the very first one. And my other one is the one that I literally just finished, which was I'm an Almeida Young producer. Well, actually, as of tomorrow, I'm not. Um,
Oh, we got you right on time.
yeah, we're wrapping up the program tomorrow. But the Almeida usually does. Everyone watching this, please engage with the Almeida. An amazing, one of probably my favorite theatre in London, and also an amazing provision for young people. And I again got rejected the first time around, bagged it the second time around, and then right now we are in Angry and Young season, which is a rep season, so the same cast as two plays, Look Back in Anger and Roots. And the program, it was bigger than usual, so usually the young producers would only do a free festival, which is 1 week long. We did 2 months of workshops and programs, and I was in the group that did a screening event. We commissioned 8 working class artists from literally all over the country to create a digital piece around the topic of roots. And such a special thing because at the screening event, all of the artists came down to London and we watched their amazing films together. And it just felt really special to gather so much regional talent and working class and emerging in the same room and give them opportunity and hear what they have to say. And so I think that was really, really special. Also, very, very recent.
Tell me about how you found MIT, how you joined MIT, your MIT journey.
My NYT journey. Okay, so I moved to the UK 4 years ago. This is my fifth one here. I'm from Bulgaria. So I moved straight to Bournemouth to study at Arts University Bournemouth with you. And throughout my entire first year, there were people like, NYT this, NYT that, and the National Youth Theatre this. And I was like, who is that? What are they doing? It sounded like this big special thing that everyone knew. But in our third year, I think it was happening while we were in rehearsals with you. Um, I just decided to audition randomly. I was like, let's just see what happens. We're gonna leave uni soon, and I'm a person who really loves planning. So I was like, I don't have a plan for after that. So maybe doing National Youth Theatre would be great. And then I auditioned. I really did feel a bit intimidated again because it felt like such a huge inaccessible thing, but not because they're inaccessible, because in my mind it was that. An audition and everything was like really nice and easy. You helped me out a lot during the audition process with advice, which I'm still really grateful for. And then I did the senior course in Northampton in 2023.
But do you remember what audition piece you did for your MIT
Absolutely.
audition?
I have a go-to monologue, obviously, that I adore. That I only recently switched up. Actually, I had been doing it for 3 years, and then I was like, Gabby, just stop. It has to be something different now. It
Sometimes you
was
just gotta have it on the go.
You do, and I love it because it's such a brilliant monologue. And do you know what? I'm happy with people stealing it from this interview because it is a phenomenal monologue. I love Ella Hickson as a playwright, and it's from the play Oil, and it's the character Amy, and it's a lovely monologue, a daughter to her mother, basically. And I love intergenerational stories, so okay, stories with intergenerational aspect to it, and that's why I really was drawn to that. I never write about these things before I have to speak about them, just because I feel it's
Hmm.
much more natural to just talk.
Say it.
uh, I think that's how passion comes across, and authenticity, which I think for the National Youth Theatre actually is the most important thing. Because last year I was helping, supporting someone else in auditioning, and they were like, "What do I answer to this?" And I was like, "Just be yourself." They're
Yeah.
picking people; they're not picking actors, which I think is a very big distinction that people don't really make.
What was your experience like on the intake course?
It's such an interesting one because I was literally the oldest person there, and I had my birthday during the course and
That's so
wanted to walk.
cute.
It was really sweet because when I was growing up, my birthday, obviously it's in the summer, so we were never in school, and it's really nice because I could always celebrate and most people would be there, but I always wanted to have the special moment when I celebrate
Yeah.
at school and just be, the moment at school, and I never had that.
No,
And I
I
had
didn't ever either because I'm July 17th.
you're also summer baby. Yeah. And I just felt like I've been robbed my entire life. And so I was like, oh my God, for the first time, I'm going to be like working or with a group of creative people on my birthday. So I was really excited about that. But I was part of the senior course. And at the time that the course started, I was still 21. I only turned 22 at the end of the course. So I was put in a senior group. So that made me the oldest person there, which I
Mm.
think people don't realize that in that age group the difference is huge because I had just kind of come out of from an acting degree,
Yeah.
and so, some people it was their first time living away from family, and it was such an interesting dynamic, but I was so lucky with the people that I was put in accommodation with. We're still friends, we still talk and see each other, and so I felt really happy about that. The course was really interesting. In the end of it, I talked to my course director, and I was like, I'm going to be honest, it didn't necessarily, you know, make me 100 times of a better actor. But what it did is it really gave me new community, and it made me feel we started out in COVID together in first year. And I do think our first year was really lost at
Yeah.
uni. Again, robbed. And that
That's
NYT
money.
any experience, money, all of it robbed. And I think that experience at NYT gave me that in 2 weeks and a half. I literally felt like I got paid back. And it was really lovely that I was in a position to really appreciate it because I was 22. Um, so that's what it felt, really wholesome the entire time. It felt like a crash course uni again, but just no pressure.
Coming away from your amazing celebrated career as a producer, what's your favorite acting project you've worked on since coming out of the MIT course?
Yeah, I think obviously group 7 that we talked about already is it feels really special because of Eleanor and because of the fact that it was the first thing that I ever did out of uni and NYC. But the most special, literally so special thing that I can talk about is I managed to work with Gecko this year throughout the summer, and I appeared in a piece of between it's a collaboration between Gecko and Good Chance. And we auditioned for that project in May, and then in June, and I think, yeah, late June, they were like, "Do you want to join our ensemble?" I was like, "Are you joking?" Of course. It's similarly to NYT, Gecko was something that I would keep hearing about and just not feel like it would ever be me. And they were basically making a piece about the 85th anniversary of the Kindertransport, and they had their core cast from Gecko, but they wanted to involve young people in it naturally because it was kids and young people in the Kindertransport. And so we were supporting them in that performance, and it was on the 6th and 8th of September at Liverpool Street Station, which is where they arrived. So that felt really special. And to be honest, that project keeps they keep developing that. They had it in Harwich, I think, and then internationally somewhere else. So it's such a special thing to include young people in that, to see how these professionals work. And just honestly, we had 8 performances of that. When I tell you I've cried at every single one whilst we have been performing. It was such a strong piece, delivering such a strong message, and literally just sitting on the sidelines because that's what I had to do until it was my time to go in. I would just cry because it was so emotional and impactful. And I was like, God, this is what art can do. This is what I can do. So, you don't get to tell me that what we do is useless and I should, retrain and do something else. That was probably the moment where I've been like, this is the power of art. This is what it can do. So that felt really special to be a part of.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Gabby.
Thank
And
you, Elle.
I'm sure you'll get many curious people asking you for a coffee now while they're
Lovely. I
doing
love
their research. Thank you so much for talking to me. And to any viewers who are still with us, thank you for watching.
Thank you, my love. See you very soon.